Diagnostics. Every rep you take should really be diagnostic. We talk about diagnostics a lot at NLT. Evaluate every rep and get better every rep. So let's jump right into this. We've got our little marine target out here, and our acceptable accuracy zone is that little area right here, which is just it's a marker, dry erase marker. So anything outside of that will be considered a miss. So let's look at two different scenarios. Let's say you have a miss like that versus this. Okay, so let's look at that one more time and just think to yourself, like, okay, what are the deficiencies in the shooter and me right now when you have miss like that versus that type of miss? Well, you can probably guess that the sweep is a trigger mechanic issue. That is a trigger mechanic. And down and to the left is a classic trigger mechanic issue for a right-handed shooter. The other one is a muzzle alignment issue. We have a nice clean dot, but it's out of the acceptable accuracy zone. It's out of the target zone. Well, I say muzzle alignment because if you're further away, that's a sight issue. You're not looking at the sights properly. And if you're closer up and you're sending that round fearlessly, it is a grip issue, where your grip is not giving good natural kinesthetic aim on that target. So, this is some things you can start on yourself and even start training some other people. You get your spouse, your friend, and you start getting them into this lifestyle of training, diagnose them as well. And every rep you take from there on just starts getting better and better and better. But by all means, let's take this to the range and see how we can diagnose in that environment. Now on the range, yes, you've got to diagnose to the nth degree. The trick is the bullet hole's a moment at a time. The cert is a whole story, a whole string of moments and times. But regardless, some things can creep up in live fire, all right? So you've got to kind of bounce back and forth to make sure that you're really unearthing where your deficiencies are. All right, so I'm drawing out on target, and of course, I might get some nice clean shots like so, but what if this creeps in, all right? Or I present out pretty quickly, and I come out and boom, and then I get another hit like that. What was the issue? What was that deficiency? Well, take your cert right on the range. And if you're a trainer, instructor, this is what's beautiful time to kind of calm things down, get rid of some boom, get rid of some noise, and then start really working on some mechanics to see what the issues are. So if you see this action, all right, I got a sight alignment or a grip deficiency. Sight alignment or grip causing misalignment of the muzzle through the whole stroke of pulling the trigger. Again, if I see this action, because as you can see, this type of action right here, it's really not much motion, not much movement in the pistol itself. So it's very difficult to assess when you're watching the pistol. Now you can do some tricks, I like the trick of putting, the tool of putting like a dime on the sights to make sure it stays steady during trigger pull. But then you kind of lose all your dynamic nature as far as getting in position, and you get more static bullseye, which are good isolation drills. But the story of the laser down here, particularly you just present out and send it, all right, that's when you see the trigger mechanic deficiencies, just as one possible deficiency. So diagnose on the range, go back and forth, clean it up. Make sure you test and validate that there's a good locked-in grip, as we've talked in some of our NRA training material. Make sure you perform by just nailing those nice, clean dots. And then, by all means, while you're on the range, you're already there, just come back and validate with live fire. So you're constantly going faster, and more accurate. But let's take it now back off the range. You get more reps in the house. Now you can certainly diagnose with all these small short trainings you do in your house. So like right here, if I come out and I am going to shoot, I'll say support hand. So let's say come out and I break a shot pretty quickly, all right? I was high and to the left a little bit, which was an acceptable accuracy zone for that clock at this distance, but I still diagnosed. And I also noticed, if I'll have to check the film on this, but I had a little bit of a kind of up and down wobble on that, all right? So it was a good shot, but hey, good is a nemesis of great. So I'm gonna strive great. I'm gonna see what can be a little bit better on that. So I'm gonna have a little bit better trigger pull. That was actually a lot worse. So let me just, boom, okay, boom. There we go. Now I'm starting to really hone in that trigger like so. Okay, boom, 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 boom. All right, so you can work this throughout the day where you diagnose those shots. I got a little squirrely in and out pull on this cert. It's a performer cert. I set this to a heavy poundage setting so it does unearth those deficiencies. So I just keep working it and keep kind of playing with my trigger pull, particularly strong hand only, and diagnose if I can get a nice clean dot. It's only 10-second trainings, it's short little trainings throughout the day. So I have very limited small input as far as time investment, and over the year, my God, the gains are huge. Now that you got some reps on the range and you really can see firsthand how you can go back and forth with the live fire and the cert pistol to diagnose right then and there, let me throw one more thing in the mix for you to diagnose. We have seen on the range actually, literally with some students, that this issue, if you can see that issue versus that issue, all right? So again, you're seeing a muzzle movement versus a clean dot. In the first case, we see a lot of what we call healing the gun. A lot of instructors out there are used to this. It's not as common of a deficiency, but some people kind of give a push-like heel, particularly with Glocks and the grip angle sometimes, and that bullet goes up to 6 o'clock, up to 12 o'clock location. Well, bullet hole doesn't tell you much, but the cert tells you that whole story. The second issue where it's just high at 12 o'clock, that is a sight alignment issue generally. Generally they are popping that sight upward like so, but either way you can diagnose it, diagnose yourself, diagnose others, and continue that 1,000-mile journey of perfecting your pistol craft.